Let's go ahead and get started, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get started for tonight's meeting. Bruce McAllister, if you can hear me, come to us. And we have a couple of visitors tonight, so we'll start off with the introductions. I'm Rick, KA4OHM, and
Will, KA4RAC.
Kathleen, K5HTV.
Dwayne, KA4, KNN.
Can you guys pause for a second? We're going to use the microphone so the Zoom folks.
People in the back.
Dennis, K4DAF. Dan, W4E. Daryl, WW4F. Mike, K4RKO.
Melanie, Kilo November 4, Zulu Sierra Yankee.
Adam, no call sign.
Malin, N4EG.
Win, W4WIN.
Armin, WQ.
Gene, K4GNE.
David, Whiskey, Delta 3 Oscar.
another Dave, WB4US. Craig, K9 Salon. Bob,
Dan in for DOB.
Mike, K4KXT. Bruce, W4BIU.
Tom, K24BIZ.
Okay, thank you. So we have two visitors with tonight, Craig.
Hey, Rick, can we do the Zoom folks real quick?
Do what now?
Can we do the Zoom folks? Just let them introduce themselves.
Okay, go ahead, the Zoom folks.
Thank you, Director.
You're welcome.
Ready direction.
You want us to introduce ourselves?
Please do.
Dave, W4IIA.
Joey, WJ3H.
Patrick, K4BKB.
John, WB4NHX.
Ron, KQLDA.
I'm David, KO4VEM.
Scott, KO4UOR.
Already have you remote folks visitors tonight.
Oh, hi, Lauren.
Hey, Lauren.
Hello.
Okay. Are we good now, Director?
I'm Sabrina, KQ4KCT.
Hey, Sabrina. Are you a visitor or are you a member? I can't remember.
Member. I'm a member.
Okay. All right. Are we good, Mr. Director?
Yeah.
You're the director.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, Craig, stand up and tell us you're from Chicago and give him the.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Craig, KC9 Sierra. Moved down from the Chicago area about 5 months ago. So interested in helping out you guys and becoming more active.
And he's a CW man. He says it's too hot down here. And then we have Adam, who's there. He wants to get his tech license.
My name's Adam Humphrey. I just came here to learn about you guys tonight in amateur radio. So,
okay, well, there's we don't know a whole lot, but aggregately we can give you advice on most subject matter. All right, so why don't we go ahead and get started with the business meeting part, and I'll have our treasurer Ken give us the treasurer's report. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad I have all this help. I know. I must be having a senior moment. I'm not going to run. I'm already been elected, so anyway. Well, I lost my train of, oh yeah. The minutes were enumerated by Armin in the newsletter, and I'm sure everybody's gone over theirs. And does anyone have any questions about the minutes as recorded by Armin in the newsletter? I request a motion to approve the minutes. Second. Everyone in favor? Okay, so it sounds like those minutes are approved. Now, Mr. Treasurer.
All right, we started the month with $19,812.46. We had one person join for $22, and we had no expenses. So we ended up with $19,834.46. And there are no new members.
Thank you, sir. Any old business that needs to be discussed? Anybody on the remote audience have any old business that needs to be discussed? How about new business? Bruce?
Turn the microphone on. Let me get up here where you can see me. Because, you're going to be a star, you're going to be in front, right? Just wanted to bring you up on the school. We're pretty well set up. We started taking sign up registrations on the 29th. We've got 8 for tech, 1 or 2 for extra, a couple for general. We need to get up to 4 for both of these to do it. We've got a few people in all of the skills stuff. Dan has just papered most of the known world with advertisements, information, that sort of thing. I'm hearing people come back to me. I've seen it 3 places. I've seen it 4 places. So one of the problems we got now is to not have to do that much every semester. So we're going to try and figure out from our students where they're hearing about it. But anyway, as I say, most of the known world knows about our classes. So we'll see how we do. And you have to look on the website to see when they are, because they're kind of spread out. They're different lengths, but it's set up ready to go. The one thing we're going to be changing this year, the church needs us to shut down at 8:45. So we're going to be going from 6:45 to 8:45 for our classes, so they can clear the building out and shut it down. That's how I'm.
Did that through the meeting as well?
I don't know. She didn't say anything about the meeting. Should we do the same in the meeting? Yeah, we had to be nice to him then, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I know.
As long as somebody's still sitting here.
Yeah. And I guess when everything is going well with the D-Star repeaters, no problems there. Good.
A lot of folks from the Orlando Hamcation were on D-Star talking about the event from the event, so it was fun. If you want to listen to
that's excellent. I appreciate your hard work in making that happen for us. Any other? Go ahead, Ken.
My presentation to update the bylaws.
Okay, go ahead, Ken.
Okay. I'll come out to here. Due to some minor technical problems, I'm just going to read it. The first change that I'd like to make is to move the date that you pay your dues by, or the start date, or the day the dues are due, from November 1st to January 1st. Okay. The whole reason for that is people get somewhat confused on paying their, we'll go for next year, their 25 dues in 24 in November. We've had people who have paid as early as September, and then come around to December, they go, oh, here's another check for my dues for 20, and they pay it twice. Turns out 10% of the club paid their dues twice. Hence the reason for why I would like to move that. The other change, should we vote on them one at a time, or? Okay, so all those in favor of moving the due date to January the 1st instead of November 1st, say aye or raise your hand. We more than got it. Super. Zoom people, thank you very much also. Huh?
November, January 1st.
Right.
Is there a grace period?
Yes, that's the second change. Okay, the question was a grace period. Yes. Currently, the grace period is 90 days. And again, people get out there and they go, I need to pay my dues again. So I'd like to change that since we moved the date to January 1st to say March 1st is the final date for you to pay your dues for that year, and it will be in that year. So March 1st of 2025 is the last date that you can pay your 25 dues. What will happen is you will be moved to the inactive file, which is what happens now. And if you come back in the next month, let's say you come back in May and you say, hey, here's my $22. You will be treated, and you actually have to fill out a new member form. But it will act for you as if it's a reinstatement form. Okay. So you'll get back when you joined, you'll get everything back. It's just you didn't get any newsletters, depending upon the exact dates and whatnot. The March 1st date is basically 59 or 60 days, depending upon if it's a leap year. Okay. And then the other thing that nobody asked about, but for all the people who have paid their dues so far, we will give you after November 1st, the month of December for free, all of November and all of December, you know. So again, January 1st. So the second part is to change the pay by date, the final drop dead date to March 1st, instead of giving you a 90-day period. And again, I'm trying to shorten it so that people go, oh yeah, I paid my dues, and they'll remember it hopefully for 3 months. So all those in favor of changing the due date to March 1st? All right. Thank you very much. I will send the changes to the secretary, who will do whatever the secretary does and make it official. Super. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ken. I'm glad to see Jeff and Bill walking. I'm just getting ready to talk about them. In 2022, we with the Virginia QSO party is coming up, and it's going to be on Saturday, March 16th. There's going to be a session, and then another one on Sunday the 17th. They're split sessions, and so Jeff and other members of RATS have asked, what about a joint operation at the church for the Virginia QSO party? Now, we did that in 2022, and I think it was RATS equipment, and I think that Jim Cato, I was RATS president then, and Bill, I think you climbed up on the roof and put antennas or did something. Want to give him a microphone? So you did not use our built-in antenna. You put a new antenna up there.
Hang on one second.
Zoom people can't hear you if you don't have.
Okay, we put up a 2-meter 440, and unfortunately it blew over. And we tried another antenna up there, and it just didn't tune up properly in the band it was marked for. So I ended up throwing up infed random with 9-to-1 on across the parking lot, and we ended up using that mostly.
Okay, that's good, because one of the concerns I had was people calling up on the building. We'll do that if we have to, but go ahead, Jeff.
So
You do this.
So you're fine. So I just got an email from one of my board members that if we want, we can go to Laurel Park for the Virginia QSO party. And we'll put up 2 big loops up across the football field, soccer field, if y'all want to do that, or we can do it here. Whatever y'all want to do.
I think there's more space at Laurel.
There is.
So that might make more sense to do it out there. And I'm not sure certainly on Sunday, the church may not be available. And so that if that location is available, I think that would be better. But I just wanted to mention to our ARC folks that was something that had been discussed, and did we want to participate? And but I think that idea of Laurel is a good idea, Jeff.
Okay, we'll move forward with Laurel then.
Go ahead, Tom.
I think especially now, Sunday is probably off the table.
I didn't mean to do it here on Sunday, just on Saturday.
It meets in here in the afternoon.
Okay.
Sunday.
I wasn't thinking of doing it on Sunday,
Okay.
but the law would allow us to do it on both days, so that would be good. Let's see. So any other, before I close the business part of the meeting, any other business? If not, can we have a motion to close the business part of the meeting? Second, all in favor? Okay, so okay. Good, excellent. So let's see. So we talked about the Virginia QSO party. So a lot of us people who operate portable have had some friendly debates about antennas, and another idea that came to my mind was to have a like an antenna shootout, where you bring your portable gear and throw up your different. I know Bill has his special antennas, and there are different versions of portable antennas. And I think it might be fun, either in the parking lot of the church or somewhere, not necessarily in the context of a national event, but just to bring our portable gear out there, some QRP, some a little bit more, and just show people what they have and kind of demonstrate what the capabilities are. So just, I throw that out there as something for people to consider. And now after that, we have Dan for some show and tell.
I mainly came to show a new oscilloscope that I bought. It's this little square right here. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, that little square right there. It's an 18 megahertz oscilloscope, and it's really good being so portable like that, because like this with a small project like this, you can hook it up and see that you're not over modulating or you're not clipping, and it just makes tuning your circuit a whole lot easier. And like I say, it's very portable this way. The downsides of this little particular scope is it's a single channel and it doesn't have an external trigger, but it's still plenty good for getting the general waveforms that you want. And I mean, it's very bright. I could show it with no signal on it right now, but like I say, it's a nice little screen on it, and I'm very happy with it. If anybody wants to see it in action during the break, I'll be happy to show them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And also, I have also seen on Amazon other similar items that have a digital multimeter form factor. They're about the size of a decent signal, digital multimeter, and those are double channel. I don't know if they have external triggers or not. I just don't know. But the price range for those is around $80. This one was about $50. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Dan. Anyone else have any bragging, new licenses, upgrades, amazing contacts, show and tell? Nothing, huh?
Kilo November 4, Zulu Sierra Yankee.
You have the floor.
I'm the blind lady with the guide dog. I've been given a Kenwood TS 2000 radio, and I need assistance on getting the voice chip put in there and getting that set up so that when I upgrade in March, I will have a radio to play around on. So if anyone is able to help me get that set up, they get in contact with me, that would be great.
Okay. Can you give us your contact information?
My email is a1950mailbox@yahoo.com.
You put it in a chat. I know. Well, she can't. She's visually prepared. Is there anyone that can help you put it in a chat box?
I can do it now if you can spell it.
Okay. If you can spell it, our director will put it in a chat box.
It's a1950mailbox, all one word, @yahoo.com.
Okay, I'm just going to save the chat.
And her name, did you get her name?
Melanie Caravo.
Okay. If there's in your call sign?
Kilo November 4, Zulu Sierra Yankee.
Okay. Yankee. Okay, so if anybody here or anybody else or anybody here or remotely has that knowledge, Melanie, hopefully they'll get a hold of you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Ken.
This is Ken. I have a question for the Zoom people. Has the meeting been better for you people? Okay, super. We tried to fix both the microphone and the audio. We are the speakers here. We still have a little flakiness on the speakers, but we did discover one of the plugs for the microphone was unplugged under the little cart that we have set up to facilitate us setting up this a lot quicker. So, and we're trying to move the camera, have a speaker or have a microphone for the people in the audience. So any suggestions you have, throw them into the chat. We're trying our best, and hopefully next meeting, the speakers won't be somewhat flaky. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ken. Anybody in the remote audience have any thing they want to share? Anybody else in addition to the lady who's already shared with us here before we move on? Okay. Well, speaking of flaky speakers tonight, we really he set me up. I couldn't resist. So, our own Bruce McAllister is going to talk about the remote station, but why don't we take, say, a 5-minute break? Is that good, Bruce? And then we can regroup at 7:30. Oh, whatever you need. Okay, 7 minutes. Do I have 8 minutes? Is there anybody? Okay. So we'll take a little break here, and then Bruce will. I mean, we already did adjourn the business meeting. Oh. Think of me as a nun with a ruler.
I know.
Anyway, one thing I forgot was I got an email from Howard Waxman, WZ4K, who's a Skyline amateur radio coordinator. And I think I brought this up before, and I put a copy of his email in the newsletter, but basically there's some annual expenses involved, $350 that Howard has been footing as a regional to run the regional Skyline program. He's asking for individuals or clubs to help support that financially. I talked to Jeff about it and the president of RATS, and they're interested. So it's kind of interesting and good service. So this, I can, if you want to look at this, I have it up here. It has his contact information, but I'm not sure necessarily we need to support him as a club, but as individual to help. It's not that to defray that expense with storm season coming up. And with that, we're going to turn it over to our, what kind of speaker did I say you were? Actor, what elderly.
Oh, is that close enough?
So here's Bruce to talk about our remote system.
We get that. So it's decent. It's tilted, isn't it? Well, people told me I'm twisted, so I guess
he's twisted.
Should we go off this camera right here? Could we switch?
Oh, just the webcam?
Yeah. Oh, well. There we go.
There you go.
That's better. Okay. Yeah. All right. I got this. Can you all hear me okay out there in Zoom land?
Yes.
Good. All right. So I'm going to demonstrate, I hope, the club's remote station. This is something as a member you got a right to use. And it works pretty well. In my home station, I can't do 80 meters. So every Monday night I get on 80 meter net, and that's how I get on, by using the station. So, and I've used it when out of town. I've talked to some of you all on a local repeater when I've been down in Topsail Island and been up in Maine and that sort of thing. So works pretty well. All right. So eyeglasses on. So I'm going to do a shared screen thing so you can see it. All right, that works.
You need to remove the spotlight. Does it matter? Do you know?
What spotlight?
The spotlight on you? It will. Okay.
All right. All right. So I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do is show you how you get started up. Okay, so can you all see the desktop here?
No. Yes.
Oh. Well, okay, you said no, but he said yes, okay.
Yes.
Look over here where my mouse pointer is. You see the RC4 client?
Yes.
Okay, so that is basically how you start it up. Once you've installed the software on your computer, that's what you're going to see. This runs in Windows, and I'll show you on the Android. Android phones or tablets will also work on. Apparently, the guy who put this together, is an engineer with Elecraft, and he's the one that set it up. And it supports all kinds of other radios, but he tried to get what's the name? Apple to let him put it on their system, and they said go away. So it'll run on Android and Windows. And not everybody is adventurous enough to do Linux, so we don't run on that. Okay, so so when I start it up, okay, you can see it starting. All right. So that's what you see. And the first thing you come up with is the kind of national server sort of thing. This is the list of all the stations that you can run. Now, you got to have permission for a lot of these people. They're a lot like us. If you're not a member of this club or this group, you don't get a chance to use it. But there are some other ones you could see in here. And if you get interested in using this a lot, John Drum uses remote stations as his only station. He lives in one of these assisted living sort of places or retirement places, and his station consists of 3 laptops. So he bounces around the various different, and he's got permission to use various ones. So you can sort it by date, by country, by city, and you'll see a lot of them will tell you you're going to be a club member, okay? But you can oftentimes negotiate. You can see who these people are. They usually have call signs. You can look them up on QRZ, find out what their email address is, and then set up to go out there and see if you can work out a permission to get on their system. He has several that he gets on. We are W4FJ. Okay, that's the club's call sign. So there it is. RARC clubs membership required. Okay, now we're going to switch to the server upstairs in this building. Okay, because my ID, which is my call sign, and my password's correct, it's passed it up to the server upstairs, and the server upstairs saw that I was legit and let me in. Now, a couple of things about this. This kind of has 2 transmitters, right? It's got one for HF that goes from 160 through 6 meters. And then it has one for VHF, UHF. They have 2 different antennas. You don't have to tune for UHF, VHF. The bandwidth is such, and the antennas we've got are such, there's not a tuning issue. But the HF one is a long wire that's not resonant on anything. And so we depend upon a tuner to make it work. So if you try to use it on HF without pushing the tune button, you're going to get high FWR and it's going to shut you down. And we haven't figured out how to reach out and give you a spanking, but we should really do that. All right, so this is reminding you to tune it. So it usually comes up with the 543 repeater as its default. Sometimes if somebody else has been using it, it will not revert to this. We don't know why that is. It's not a big problem. But anyway, I don't have a repeater thing with me, but anyway, W4BRU, transmission test on the RARC remote station. Okay, so we need to get the sound pipe through here. It seems to me there's a setting here for that. Share sound. Let's see if this works again. W4BRU testing the remote station.
you need to switch to the computer audio, not this one, right? So you need to switch it off of USB.
Okay, then you will not have any audio. Okay. I'm surprised we don't have audio on the computer itself here, hearing it.
We can do it because you don't need the microphone. You can use the computer microphone because you're right there.
Oh, okay.
So if we switch to we
Try that. Okay, folks in Zoom land, can you hear me still?
Yes.
Good, thank you. So you did it. You know what you're doing. That's amazing.
But now, do you have the audio on R4?
Well, we'll see how this works. W4B, are you testing the RARC transceiver? No, we still don't have it. Okay, the audio, I think the audio is not terribly important for what I'm going to show you. So anyway, when you get on, one of the things you want to take a look at are these slider settings here, because people may have set them where you didn't want it. For example, mic gain works best around for around 50%. SQL, you can't really tell because the audio is not going, but that's good around 20, which is good to keep the hiss out when you're using the repeaters. Compression level is about right. You want RF gain up to the top. These two, noise blanker and noise reduction, if you push the buttons up here, you can determine how strong they are. Let's see.
Do you really need to hear it? Because there's one thing, if you go into the Windows audio, like the mixer, you might be able to turn up like the actual software.
Yeah, but I think I don't think we're gonna do any contacts tonight, so.
Okay.
It's, useful to hear the hiss sometimes when you get it.
When you go to HF, you want to.
I can try real quick.
Okay. Why don't I take us to HF and then you can mess with it, okay?
Yeah, because the repeater is really boring. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, I find the repeater interesting sometimes. It's good people up there. Anyway, one of the things that you can do is you can have a bunch of memories on this thing. It's down here on the memories. We have some standard ones set up for the club. W1AW, the two repeater, we have the 6 meter net. We have some nets set on here. We've got the two RATS repeaters. This says VHF and UHF. So we got the RATS repeaters. We got the 543 repeater. So we got some of that stuff on here. If it hasn't gotten moved, so you can choose the remote one, which is the club's one, or the local one, or both. We don't have it. Okay. So normally I have on my computer. Okay. So there are two pieces here. There is the memory that we have on the club's server, which are these. And then there are the memories that I have myself, which I can put in here for local memories. And I have that on my computer when I get it on. And I have it for the 80 meter net. So I'm going to show you how you set those up because I want to set it up for this. You basically go to local, which is what it's going to be. And I believe you right click it. Oh, here it is. So we're going to add a memory. And you can see what you do. You call it what you want. I'm going to call it 80 meter Monday night. 8 p.m. Monday.
Now
you have a question?
That there's a real issue with heart rate. Do you believe the hesitancy that women there have in having children comes from any of this? Comes from them seeing the suffering of their own children and their own experiences?
First of all, the babies, when they're born, the babies' die rate is super higher than the other countries. And also because of the starvation or lack of food, everything, people, not like women, they don't want to marry or they don't want to have a kid.
By the way, I love the people on there here. That wasn't my point.
No, but
Just so you know.
I thought I would misuse it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the connection to the server has dropped. I don't know why that would be. But we may have pushed some other stuff. Okay, we're gonna try and get back in again. All right, here we go. Oh, by the way, down here, you can see who's on down here at the bottom center. You can have multiple people on here. I've been on with other people, particularly 80-meter net, and we swap. It's like two guys sitting in a, like you, yeah, you and I sit in my shack sometimes and we'll make a contact and we'll hand it to him and he'll make a contact. And so we double up that way. So the same thing here. Well, here's guest 32, whoever guest 32 is. So you could kind of double up like that. Or you can send a chat down here, right here, and you can ask when they're going to get off because you have a particular thing you want to do. I had somebody on one evening around 8 o'clock on a Monday night, and I told him that I'd like to get on a net. Could you let me know when you'd be off? And he said, well, I'm getting off at 8 o'clock anyway. So we swapped. That worked out fine. So it's somewhat negotiable. Okay, memories. I was showing you how to set one up. So it's 80 meters, Monday, 8 p.m.
3885.
Are you sure?
338.
3.858. When somebody else doesn't blow us off, you can let this thing automatically figure out what's megahertz or not. I don't trust computers, so here it is. I spent my life as a computer jockey. Then you've got to specify lower sideband, upper sideband, and such. And by the way, when you switch frequencies, if you're used to on your home rig, where you switch a band, it puts it in the upper sideband, lower sideband, that's what automatically. This doesn't do that. You got to pay attention. So you'll learn a lot while you do this. The other, and then the filter you want probably medium for HF. Okay. Notice you can set those all over here. You can set the mode over here, all that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm going to save it. All right, so now I'm going to bring it up, and you just double click on it. And watch the magic happen as it flips over. I'm doing this. No, it should be hissing right now. In fact, if you see up here, you can see that's the audio coming in. This gain here. Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Where's AF down here? Yes, but we have the AFA locked out, so it doesn't have any effect. We were having a problem. It's kind of funny. We were having a problem here where people were being in the gymnasium, that sort of thing. The radio was on the second floor above the gym in a locked closet and a locked cabin, right? We don't want you to go anywhere near it. Got to keep that. But they were hearing voices. And where do these voices come from? Well, we had, if you turn this up and you have it set up, the voices come out of the speaker up there. They were trying to figure out where the voices were. Is this place haunted or what? So we had to go up and set the settings so it wouldn't do that. Oh, no, we're not really hearing each other, are we? I thought we did too. Well, it's okay. The hissing isn't as important as being what's going on. I mean, we could try and make a contact. When I go into depth on this thing when we do the seminar. What happens is the first night of the seminar, whoever's there, I have you load up the software and I'll show you how to do that here. And then we spend time, we teach it on Zoom, we spend time if we work out how to get it set up and working and make the connection and that sort of thing. And I was going someplace with that, I have no idea where I'm going. But anyway, the second night is how to set up the logging program, FL Digi for PSK, how to set up the FT8 mode. So the first step is how to get this thing going. You got to play with it for a week. Next week we have a second class, and you learn how to install the logging programs, etc. So all the things you normally can do on your home rig, you can do on this. All right, so we're not able to see much. And I would say by the looks of this, there's no traffic. So the way you tune it. Okay, so once you're here, the first thing you need to do is click tune. Okay, whenever this, and I don't dare hit transmit because I don't want to. I can't hear, so I don't want to step on something. But when you tune, this display goes to red. When you transmit, this display goes to red. So you transmit. Okay. So you can say what you. This is the meter. It's SWR. Or it's S meter when you're receiving. On transmit, you can choose ALC, power, SWR. You can choose whichever one you want. Tune it here. It has noise reduction, noise blanking. It has a couple of ESP type filters. This one, and they are sometimes helpful. You can do a preamp. Generally, what that does is raises the noise level. You've got an attenuator. That'll cut the noise level. You can, of course, do what we do at home when the signals are fairly strong, but the noise is pretty high. You can cut down. You can cut down the RF gain. A lot of times, there was somebody I was following in on Monday nights who've been running digital, and so they were running down here 20 watts. I wonder why they couldn't hear me. Well, vibration. Yeah. So I talked to a guy in Louisiana yesterday, and and I had been messing with digital, and he heard me, but no, a little tight. I said, well, let's try this. So I picked 100 watts. Okay, that's what we need. I took care of it. All right, so this is how you use the memory. Now you can do a couple of other things. Well, you can pick your bands. So I can say I want to go to 40 meters. I click it. Now to tune it, there are a couple of ways to do it. The easiest way, if you're running on a Windows machine, is to use the little mouse wheel. So I go here, and yes. Are you doing it? It doesn't work so well. I don't know. Oh, did the table come just? Yeah. We've been having issues with this. Let's switch all the way up.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you tune it with the mouse wheel is the easiest way. Just run the mouse wheel back and forth. Now, it's got to be sitting on the digit to do it. And you can determine whether you want to do it that way or this way as you move it back and forth. If you happen to be in a situation where you have a mouse wheel, you could use these little tabs here to do it. You can also theoretically turn this wheel. If you put your mouse here, you can turn the wheel like this. So that's how you tune it. Okay. Do you think that's?
Well, now we turn the spell chop.
The other thing you could do is you can adjust your volume up here. Now these are the volumes. This is the microphone volume. And this is the speaker volume on your computer. You're not doing anything into the radio. That's just, it's coming to the radio, it's coming to the computer. You can adjust it on the computer. So, and generally midway seems to be about the right place to put it. All right, so these are the adjustments you can make. You can change, sideband. You can notice you can go down into digital voice, anything you want to use, right? You can handle your filters. Wide is what you would use for repeaters, narrow for CW. This machine will do CW. We haven't, when we kind of undid it, when we did a redo on it, we took the CW connection off, and we haven't figured out how to get it to work again. Again, if you're dealing with repeaters, you can deal with tone, whether it's simplex or not. You can deal with the speed of the AGC. Medium seems to be about right. There's an attenuator. You can change the bandwidth of the transmission. Again, you can change what this meter shows you. And this is how you want to do CW, okay? If you get something like FL Digi on here, which is the second step I take people through, you can do keyboard CW if you want to. I think Armin would shoot you if you knew you were doing it, but you can do it. Gotta let him be doing that. Okay. Any questions so far on what I've shown you?
No, I wish we could get audio, local audio.
Yeah.
There's one thing you need.
Well, the connection just dropped again.
Does it automatically reduce power when you go into additional modes?
No. All the settings on here are, you got to do it. You got to check with sideband, you got to check upper sideband, lower band. Nothing is automatic like it is in your home machine. Okay.
So somebody potentially could cause some problems if they.
Yeah. Yeah. This is good training. It's basic radio for you. You get all that down. One of the things that we're discovering, and we're discovering this because Mike was having some problems with it, is if you let's see if I get back into HF again. Let me pick a band here. Oh, 10's one of my favorites. I'm going to tune it because I just went there, right? It's good to kind of overdo the tuning. Just do it as much as you can. And you don't have to move much before you got to tune it again. And I was going someplace with this one as well.
How do you know the songs making use of the transmitter?
Look down here. You see where I am? The mouse is. You'll see another call sign down there.
And if somebody else joined, Bruce has control. Because he's there first.
Right. Also, you and I are administrators.
Yeah.
You'll have an X by your name, but we have an A. There's an X.
See me.
Yes, I see you.
Yeah. So there's me.
Yep. And I see Armin down there as well.
Just so you know, he's got an app on his phone that he's
yes
logged into the machine.
And I'm going to show that to I'm going to show you that to you in a second. Okay, so this
is that him?
Yeah, that's him. That's all. Yeah.
So
he came in on his Android, right?
Same.
Yeah. So Android phones and Android tablets will work just fine. And I'm going to show you. You can't. It's hard to demonstrate very well, particularly for the folks on Zoom, what the Android looks like. So I've actually recorded it on mine. I'm going to play it for you. All right. I'm trying to think if there's anything else here I need to show you. I have not tried everything you can do with it. As I say, I use it for 80 meters. We keep dropping the connection. I don't know why, but that's okay.
The one thing that you need to know is when you're on it, if you're not an extra, there are certain parts of the band that you are restricted, i.e. all those that you can't transmit in. So the way this software works, you can't listen to anything that you can't transmit in, i.e. you can't tune into an area that you can't transmit in. So if you go and you say, hey, I want to go to the 80 meter band, and it puts up a frequency that you're not allowed to, you're sort of SOL.
So the
So
technique
the whole
is,
thing is there's a keypad here.
see this keypad right here? So you can put in something, right?
Yeah, you can put in a part of the band that you're allowed to use. So if you're a tech, you would have to go into the part of the 10-meter band that a tech is allowed to use voice on. If you try to go to any other HF band, a tech can only do CW. So you got to be in that part of the band that you go to. So that's the one thing, and you get caught in that if you try to use change a digit. If changing one digit puts you in a part of the band you're not allowed, you're SOL.
You can go to 6 meters and use all of them.
Yeah, 6 meters, everybody, 6 meters and 2 meters and 7 or 440, everybody can use everything. But again, if you're not an extra,
knocked
which
off
Bruce
as well.
is, you'll see the problem manifest itself. The one guy we heard a complaint, he's a general, and he says, I can't tune. Yes, question in the back. Hold on a second.
This is where you get repeated.
Hmm.
In the program to keep it from the edge of the thing.
Now, if you get to the edge, you will transmit at your own risk. Okay, again, we make sure it's a part of the band that you could tune to, but if you're on the edge, you could be using upper sideband instead of lower sideband. If you're at the bottom edge.
Armand, are you getting kicked off? Are you getting disconnected?
No, I removed I disconnected.
No, but now can you try and reconnect? Because we weren't able to get in.
Well, I kept getting knocked off.
Yeah.
And I've shown you most of what I want to show you. If you want to see a lot of the more detail, you're going to have to pay. So.
Bruce, I understand that one person is in control, but can't more than one person listen at the same time?
Yes.
Yes. Now, what if one person listening has a lower life class? Like kick the extra?
No, as long as
Bruce is in
Bruce is in control. Somebody in that part of the band is not control.
But you can listen when someone else is listening.
But somebody else is in control.
Right. And you can transmit because there's a higher level person is there. So they're the control operator. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
We've not experimented with that, so we can make that as a fun experiment, I suppose.
That's weird. So it's being flaky again.
Yeah, well, I'm interested in, I'm not too crazy about the fact of being flaky. All right, what I want to show you. So.
What are the classes? Do you know where it's right?
Look on RARclub.net.
For seminars and classes.
The problem is they're scattered all through, so you have to look it up to see. We made a very sophisticated table to make it easy for you. Didn't you, Ken? Okay.
Yeah.
You get squared away with Kathy.
Yes. Yes, for the instructors to know, the room assignments, we're going to use the rooms we used the past year. We weren't sure because there's another church going to be working afternoons in here. And they're going to be using some of the space up there, but it turns out they didn't need those classrooms. So we're going to be where we were before. Yeah, sure. I'll show you. Let me get there. Yeah.
So if it ever is intermittent like that, that's sometimes an issue that's never been fully figured out, right? Because sometimes like the church internet will drop out and then that's nothing we can do. But if it's intermittent, that's just something that we're still working on, right?
The church internet it's probably because of Verizon.
But then the station would like fully drop out. So if it's being intermittent like that, that's not fully explained.
Yeah, we don't have much of a problem with that. We used to have a problem that Mike eventually fixed, and that was we had a leaky piece of coax, And on 40 meters at certain frequencies at certain times, whenever it felt like it, the coax would get into the computer and shut it down. And we took forever to figure out what that was. And finally found, I've got a trophy at home, which is the piece of coax that was the culprit, right? Okay. So here's how you set it up. Now, these PDFs are on the club's website. You go out to the club's website and go to the search bar. A lot of people don't say, where is it? Well, we got a ton of stuff out there. You got to use the search bar to find it. Put in remote station or just remote, it'll find it. So here's where you go to set it up. Okay, remotehams.com. You need to use your call sign as your ID. We've had people put in their name or their favorite dog or something like that. And the problem is we got to do two things. We got to make sure you're really a ham and you got these particular credentials. You're a tech, you're an extra, you're an advanced, whatever you are. So you got to do this with your call sign. So that's your call sign when you sign up. It's free to sign up, and a password. What you'll do, probably what I do on my computer, is I have the password, so it automatically comes up when I go in there.
One thing. Lowercase letter. It's otherwise not right. So
Oh, he's saying that I'm using this microphone, so they're not going to hear you.
Yeah.
Well, let's not.
It doesn't really matter because Bruce is. Yeah.
Yeah. So call sign and lowercase letters, and then whatever password you want. It's free. If you want to use the Android, which I'll show you in a bit, you buy that at Google Play for $10. It's good forever. By the way, if you buy one for Android, make sure you keep the credentials that you get when you use Google Pay, because you have to switch machines, switch phones, or switch to a tablet, you either pay another $10 or you carry those credentials over. They'll carry them over, but if you lose them, it's another $10. Okay, you install the machine. They will give a check whether your license is legitimate or not. Usually it's 5 minutes, but I've seen guys who said it took a couple of days before they got around to it. So they actually have a human being do that. And then, okay, so that lets you get into that big menu you saw. Okay. What happens is when you are a member of this club and you've paid your dues and all, you will have the frequencies you're allowed based upon your level put into a table inside our computer here. And so that's how it goes. Let's see. It'll run in anything from an XP to Windows XP to Windows 11. We have these tips out there to show you what's what. All right, so I'm going to give you the Android piece. So this is what it looks like in Android. Let me stop it so I can do a shared screen. All right, so you should see the starting thing when you sign into Android. When you sign into remote hams, you see the list of stations, and here it is here. This is now seen on an Android machine. You back it up and see. Okay, so when you start it up on an Android, this is my tablet. You go down till you find RC4. Here it is up here. You click that. What you won't see in this recording is you won't see the button pushes, because this thing is, it's finger presses, and the recording doesn't pick up the end of my finger. So that's it. All right. So you hit this one just like you did on the Windows thing. That's what you get. You immediately go to this list of stations. You click up there. It'll give you a keyboard down here. Notice how fast I am with my fingers. And there's the station. You see it right here. You click on that, and now you go to what you've been seeing before. Same information, okay? And this is what it looks like. I'm doing this with the tablet kind of this way, landscape mode. You could do it the other way if you want. All right, so you know how you get rid of the keyboard. You got an Android device. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's again the local repeater in most cases. So the first thing you'll see is you can't. Let me see, back this up just a little bit. We have to find this fast moving typing here. Okay, so the first thing is there aren't as many the buttons that you saw on the Windows version. There are fewer of them. You could actually have as many on the landscape version of your tablet, but this is designed to go on a phone. So that little phone, you can't put all those buttons on there without giving you a magnifying glass at the same time. So they spread them out a bit, and you use this menu a lot to go through to get all the buttons. So you have the basic stuff. You can change bands. You go up and down. You could tune. You have the number pad and the band one on here that you could pull off. You have your memories here, like we showed before. You could tune. Here's your push to talk. What'll happen though is the push to talk will follow you as you move around. You use the menu to look at all the other stuff. So I'll show you what that looks like. You don't. I'll show you.
Go to chat.
Yeah, you go to chats. See this thing that says chats up here? See where my mouse is? Chats. You click that and it'll show you who's on as well as a few other things. But you know, you got to do a lot of moving around with an Android. You don't have to do with the Windows. And somewhere here, I'm going to push the menu button and you'll see it. There we go. So I'm looking at the frequency screen here. Buttons and sliders. Remember seeing the buttons and sliders in the Windows thing? You click something for that. Then there's some drop downs, which I'll show you that in a second, that you use for things like upper sideband, lower sideband, that sort of thing. If we had an amplifier or CW or a switch, you could do that from here. We don't. So, okay, here's the one with the sliders. So I picked that one. You know, so you got tune here as well, but you got a few other things you can use here. And then here are your sliders you can set. Okay. God, I was running this thing was pretty slow. Okay. So we're going to go, I think, to drop downs now. Let's see. Okay, here are your drop downs. So this is where you set things like AM, FM, lower sideband, upper sideband, the filter, all that stuff you saw on the other one. That's how you set it up. Going back to frequency. Here are the memories. And you notice on my tablet, I have the 80 meter net set up. If I double click that, it'll switch it to 80 meters, just like that. And because I have it set up with lower sideband, everything else in the filters is correct. I could hear the sound on this, but this particular recorder for the tablet does not record sound. It only records the picture. So I'm not sure there's much of anything else to show you on this. And this is pretty straightforward. Let's see if I can.
All right, let's go back to share again. So if you have a phone, this is what it's going to look like. This is the way the Android looks on the phone. It's and then now you understand why it has so few buttons on it. You couldn't stand to have that many on the phone. All right, so all right, so a couple of other things to show you. There are a couple of setup things out on the website that you can look at by if you ask for remote station. This is one that's a kind of even more condensed station tips. Basically shows you that what I'm showing you. Pick the band, set the mode, pick the filter, set the squelch, and the other things like that. Okay, and tune. And then shows you how to disconnect. So this is a little, I think, 2-pager that's out there on the website. Oh, I didn't show you guys on the Zoom. I keep forgetting I got to do that. So this is the 2-pager that's out there. Shows you the how to set it up, how to start it off, how to tune it, and so forth. Any questions so far?
What happens if you close down your program without shutting?
Do you want to shut it off?
Station will drop. Right?
Yeah, if you just shut it down, its station drops. And in fact, in Android, you have to shut it down. You really don't have a disconnect. There's a section on Android I didn't show you that has chat. That's where you would put in your messages like will you get off? I want to get on, that sort of thing. That's where you see other people that are on there with you. You can go out, if you set it up right, you can go out and look at the World Wide Web and has QRZ set up, that sort of thing. So it's actually pretty good in the Android. I found it very useful. Okay, there's only one other thing I want to share with you.
So Bruce, if say like you, me, and Armand were on all together, does it just work pretty seamlessly?
It would be like we were all sitting beside each other in your QTH, you know, only one of you is going to tune and you pass the microphone back and forth, that sort of thing.
Except because I'm general and you guys are extra, I just wouldn't be able to transmit.
Yeah, one Sunday afternoon, Will came over to my QTH to get on, and we were swapping back and forth. And he came back to me the next day and said, "Hey, I was up there working on extra stuff." And I said, "Well, luckily you had a control operator with you." So
right, exactly.
If you get used to it and you just don't notice anymore. Okay, so this is a little bit of background. Those who want to know how it's set up. This is kind of how it's set up from a network point of view. You as a club member, you know, sign in to the remote hams link. So that's the first thing you go to. And if you pass muster there, you see that list of stations. All right. And you can pick whatever station you got authority to use. When you pick a station, including our station, what happens is the remote hams goes out to the RARC remote server that's on the second floor. And it checks you out and says, are you legitimate? And what rights do you have on? And then that's where you begin to see that it's connecting you and you see the screen come up. And at that point, you're directly connected to the server. Remote hams has got nothing to do with it. When you disconnect from your session, then you bounce down to the remote hams thing, and you get the list again of all the other stations. It's going to a 7100, so that's what our machine is. And this is a little crazy trying to get back and forth here. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is inside the secret cabinet. At the top, right where you see my mouse, is where the actual body of the transceiver is. Like most stuff now, it's
not much bigger than the computer. And when we were having the problem with RF getting into the computer, we actually strapped it up there, close to where the cables come off and go up to the roof. Here's the control head for it. Here's the computer. This is the server, the local server. Then we have to have a way of turning it off. If someone gets it on, it gets stuck on. And so on the internet, we can dial up and shut down the power. So this is our internet controlled power switch. We can shut down the radio and the computer independently. Underneath it, we have a classic internet router, have a power supply down here and a diverter relay. And back here in the back, we have a UPS for the computer. So that's what the setup is. On the roof, we have a sled that has the UHF, VHF on it. And then we have a 94-foot wire, is that 94 feet, is that right? That goes from that thing, goes across to like it's an L. It's an L, kind of goes up by a chimney here. We're using some of that black Dacron rope. Goes to that, and it goes over the top of this area over here by the cafeteria. So it makes kind of an L.
So it's daylight.
Yeah, it does well. We get out well. Everybody that I talk to says it's a strong station. John's uses it a lot. John Drummond, he said it really gets out very well. So
we save multiple awards.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, just for a record, if it's 94 feet now, originally it was 97, so you shortened it a few feet.
No, it's whatever you said. No, we didn't shorten it. No,
we didn't shorten.
I thought I didn't. Yeah. Okay, we need to switch this microphone back. It's 3. Yeah. Okay, and that's this microphone here?
That's the whole, yeah.
Okay.
Or the wireless.
Well, I'm not seeing any motion here, so we're not having, obviously don't have it.
Try the, you have to hit the button.
Okay. So, questions from anybody? All right. Well, if you want to get more detail about it, you can welcome to come to the seminar. And, but this is remote station, as I say, I use it for 80 meters. I use it when I'm out of town. So if sometimes you hear me on vacation on one of the repeaters around here, I'm going through this thing. So.
One thing I would like to bring up, if you get on the 80-meter net on Monday night and you want to use it, you'll have to work out the crews so that y'all can be on at the same time, because he uses that as his 80-meter station.
And I've been on there with other people. It's just like passing the microphone back and forth. No different from doing that in a station. Any questions?
Yeah, give us 1 sec. We're just going to give you the microphone for the Zoom folks.
I take it that you're just clicking on what's going to be the one that's transferred. I mean,
when I get done, I just say go ahead. I mean, like when we were doing this thing, I would say stand by for another guy and another operator, and then he would speak up. So we just pass it down like that, just like you do if you had several of us around a microphone in UQTH. Same kind of thing.
Okay, they just hit the push to talk.
And you need to tell the guy on the other end to hang on for somebody else. I mean, so that's
There's a chat that sort of like. Thank you.
Not eating my own advice here as the Zoom director. Just like sort of like we're all sharing a Zoom chat right now in the background. There's a chat in either if you're using the app for the remote radio or if you're using the software. So like if Armin and I were on the app, we'd be able to like essentially text each other, kind of like you can do in Zoom, to like communicate or plan about us like sharing the app, if that makes sense.
Well, the person just pushes the push to talk.
Right, exactly. So aside from us like sharing the chat on the app to coordinate, it would be the same thing as us like sitting at the same station together and then just like passing the radio back and forth.
Except that you'd have to relinquish control and give it to the other person.
You do?
You do, because there's only one person can be in control. So if someone else needs to talk, then they not need.
But do you have to ask, or can you just hit the PTT?
I would say you won't be able to just talk and it would work. But you as not the person in control can't change the channel or do anything like that.
When I've used it, it's not that complicated. I just said, I think it was on with ARC W4TY. And I said, stand by for ARC. But then what ends up happening is someone will call in and say, KD4CMK W4BRU, and you put us at the list because it's a controlled net. So we deal with a controlled net. Once the net control knows that you're there, so then I would do, you'd say if there's anybody else, I'd hand you the thing. You give your call sign. He now has you on the list. When he calls you, you speak up. You just push the button and talk. It's pretty easy.
So if you're in control and you are an extra, can me as a technician just sit and listen? Like if you're in forms that I'm not allowed to
You do that. You're a general now, aren't you?
Yes. I think what they were saying is so long, and Bruce and I will have to try this because I'm a general, he's an extra. I think they were saying is so long that there's like an extra who has set the frequency for an extra frequency, I could listen to him. So like if the control operator was an extra and I was signed in, anyone can listen to the extra control operator, if that makes sense.
My function is when he was up there on the place he wasn't supposed to be, I was his control operator. So it was operating on my license, not his license at that point.
Steve says thank you.
Any other questions? Anybody out in Zoom land that has some questions? Let me get this.
And I'm looking at the chat too while you're.
And one other thing to mention, so I got the microphone. This allows you to upload a copy of your official license. There are other sites that if you haven't uploaded it, they won't let you use. They verify that before they authorize you to their site. So if remote hams was maybe delaying a little bit, that's one way you can speed it up, is to upload a copy of your license to them. When you go to the FCC, you'll get it as a JPEG, and you can just upload that JPEG to remote hams.
And there are some place, if you find a place that you want to use their station and you want to negotiate with them, you find they may say, if you don't have your license uploaded to here, we won't do it. They'll check you out first. So, yeah.
So just to clarify. So like when you're in the app and you're in a chat and you ask for control and it says like, is anyone using the station or whatever, that is not actually relinquishing control like Rick was asking about.
So local chat, it's like typing something into the chat here.
So you could just PTT over each other essentially.
Yeah, I suppose you could. Yeah.
You're talking about only one person using the remote station and the other people in that not using.
Yeah,
What I was asking is there's two people that want to use
a remote station to be on a net. Wouldn't one have to relinquish controls so the other could use the remote station?
Well, I don't think you're actually in control. You're all there.
I'm not talking about other people that have their radio at home. I'm talking about there's Bruce that wants to use the remote station for the net and someone else wants to as well on the net. Wouldn't you have to relinquish control to that station?
If you want to change frequencies and go somewhere.
Not to change frequencies, just to talk.
No.
How
Immediately.
Through the remote system?
Okay.
System. They
could still be in charge.
They can still push the PTT button. But if you want to do a different net and want me to go away, now you're going to negotiate that. That's what you use the chat for.
But do you have to actually do anything like to change who the official control operator is? Do you have to actually do anything like aside from being a nice guy? Do you have to actually do anything for that, or can you just do it?
I'm not sure we really tested that out to find out what happens.
We should.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you wanted to relinquish control while you're still logged on to you, I think you basically go to the list of who's logged on, and Bruce would pick himself and move him to the bottom of the list.
Okay.
And then you pop up as the control
I
operator.
don't think we ever tested it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the idea would be then you're a control operator, and again, hopefully the frequency you're on at that moment in time is one you're allowed to use, because otherwise you're SOL. You can't tune it. Okay. So that's the issue. You may have to have him tune it to a frequency you're allowed to use, and then move himself so that you become the control operator.
This is also a push to get your extra.
Yes.
This is a push to get your extra, and this solves all of my personal problems.
Well, sure. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to drag this on too much. Anybody got any questions out there in Zoom land or here in the room?
No questions from Zoom.
Okay. Thank you.
K4YF on Zoom tonight. Is Mac K4YF on Zoom tonight?
No.
He needs to use this.
Okay, I think we can shut Zoom down.
Don't do it yet, because I need to see the chat.
Oh, okay. I'll let the director take back over again. All right, thank you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
That it? And I meeting adjourned.
It has the chat and everything's already there.
Okay, so we don't have to look for you to the thing.